Paltrocast.
How are you? Good afternoon.
I'm good. I'm good. How are you doing?
Great. Thank you very much. And so much to ask you because not only is there this film, there's your Pilates business. I see a drum set next to you, etc.
Yeah.
So where are you dialing in from today?
Oh my goodness. No, this is actually my fiance's studio. So he's a drummer and music director. So this
Oh,
is his like little studio.
any credits or artists that he plays with that I would know?
Yes. Do you know who Lauv is?
Yes.
Lauv, he plays for him and he's his music director. He has been for like 8, 9 years now. And yeah, people like Joshua Bassett. I don't know, he's a Disney kid. A bunch of people. But yeah,
The cool
he does.
term
That's
is
why there's a drums kit.
he MDs. He doesn't music
Yes.
direct,
No,
MDs.
he
Okay.
empties. You're right, you know.
Yeah. Well, anyway, congratulations on the Red Shoes Next Step. When did you actually film? Because in your case, I know you also produced it.
Yes, I helped produce it. We filmed in 2021, so
Mhm.
it was still kind of like COVID times. And like pre and like end of 2020, but mostly it was all 2021.
Got it. So, did you know outright, hey, I want to work on the production and star in it, or did the production happen and then you went, okay, might as well act too?
It was I acting is going to be like my number one forever.
Hmm.
But I thought I spoke to my mom about it. She's the EP Tanya. We spoke about it and I was like, let's just like try it for this one and see how it goes and if I want to continue helping out in the production back end section rather than just on camera.
Hmm. Is IMDb correct that your first role was in The Conjuring 2?
Yes, my first film was The Conjuring 2.
Not a bad first credit to have. So,
No.
I'm surprised that didn't pigeonhole you to the horror genre.
Honestly, I filmed another horror movie last year in Australia, and that is the only other horror I've done, which is crazy. But I have gotten a lot of auditions for horror movies since then.
And this film obviously focuses on ballet and dance and all that. Is that part of your background as well?
So I grew up dancing a little bit. I was never any good. So I think my parents gave up on me. With that, don't blame them. I was more of an actor and a singer, but I loved dancing. I know so many obviously a lot of ballerinas, ballet dancers now, and it is so impressive. So impressive seeing there's so much hard work goes into it and
Yeah.
dedication, and it's amazing.
It's almost like a military oriented thing where it teaches you so much discipline that it's
Oh, so
immediate
much
culture
discipline.
shock. And then you spend the rest of your life living by those ideals, no matter how torturous it was in
Oh
ballet.
yeah. Yeah, it's ingrained in you.
Yeah. So is that a tougher role for you to have been part of? Because you have to, and this is a compliment that's coming, Lauren. This is a compliment. When you're the producer, you're thinking of more the bottom line, what's the distribution going to be like, et cetera. And when you're acting in front of the camera, you're thinking of the moment. So in other words, you have to simultaneously think about the moment and the big picture. So
Yeah.
is this a tough particular production for you?
I think you're right. I have to think about it both ways. And I think I've always had a knack for that, even when I'm not producing something or helping produce something. I always want to know how it's going to look at the end, because that's what matters, right? It's what the viewers are going to be seeing at the end. So when I'm acting, even if it's like not even a family production, I still want to make sure that like every shot looks good, every angle, like because I know that it doesn't matter what I think, it matters what like the viewers are going to think and see. So I think I've always had a knack for that, even regardless if I'm helping produce or not.
So giving strike restrictions and all that, I'll ask this very unoffensively, non-offensively, inoffensively, whatever the offensive correct verbiage is right there.
Mhm.
This is a few projects ago, correct? That the best is
Yes.
yet to come, that there's more to look forward to.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
And in those particular things, you're also producing and acting, or was this
Just
the last?
acting. Just acting. I think I'm gonna stick in the future to just acting. Producing is hard. Producing is hard work. And I feel like I'm a lot more creative on camera than I am behind the scenes.
And credit
It's
goes
very
to you.
stressful.
I can imagine. Credit goes to you for that, and credit also goes to you for being able to do Australian movies and American projects, because oftentimes it's one or the other.
Yeah.
Obviously, the travel distance and all that. When did you kind of realize that you could do both?
Well, it helps when my mum decided that she wanted to become a producer. That also helps. I get to go home and work as well, which is awesome, and hang out with my mum.
Mhm.
But yeah, I love being home, but I don't like being home for too long because I do get bored because my life is here. So then when I'm working back home, it kind of helps. And it makes me fall in love with Australia even more. And I do miss home a lot, but when there's no work there, I don't have not really much to do, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go back to what I was saying. An Australian actor that I recently interviewed, Louis Mandylor. Do you know who he is by any chance?
No.
I asked him about his film work in Australia, and he goes, "I've never made one movie in Australia." So that's a
Really?
common kind of thing that I've seen with other talent, that they moved to LA and they kind of never looked back.
Never come back. Yeah.
So
I
in your
understand
case,
that.
going back and forth is unique in terms of people knowing that you're available, and
Hmm.
also that there it must be different representation that you'd have for that territory than this territory, like a different set of agents.
Yeah, I have my Australian manager, Charmaine. I've been with her since I was like 15 years old, a long, long time. And then I have my US managers and agents here. So they all work together. So
Good
like,
for the visa paperwork.
pardon?
Good for the visa paperwork as
Oh,
well.
I'm on a green card now, so she doesn't need to
Yes.
deal with the visas anymore.
Yeah, that's a painful thing that a lot of people have to deal with, when you have to justify in government documentation that I'm good. No, seriously, here are my credits. I'm good. And
Awful.
then,
It
but
I Yeah.
back to you, as I mentioned at the top of the conversation, the Pilates world, you're a business owner, kind of an influencer on that end as well. Where did the love of that come versus the love of acting?
So it came about, I when I moved here to Los Angeles when I was 19,
Mhm.
very, very young. I didn't have any family here. I had a couple friends, but like not like that many people. Um, I just got into the whole diet culture, on over exercising, under eating, all that real not great stuff.
Yeah,
And so then I decided I wanted to start strength training. So I started, I wanted to gain a little bit of muscle, and then I started doing that. And then I was like, after like a couple of years, I was like, you know what? I want other girls to feel strong, and I want them to eat well and nourish themselves and not try and make them smaller, especially girls that are in film, that are models, like all the entertainment girls, like it's very common. So that's how it started. And it's just grown into like basically my full-time business is just training other females and women. I work with pregnant women, postnatal women. Yeah, and it's just like blossomed from that unintentionally, but it's great because I get to still
yeah.
act and do that, because it's another, obviously acting is another thing that I'm so passionate about. I get to do that as well as run my business and do my other passion and train other women and make them feel strong and empowered. So it's a good little balance that I have for myself, I think.
I'd have to imagine a lot of people in the Pilates world have no concept of who's a prominent actor or actress. They're not following film and TV because they're very positivity and inner oriented. So do
Mhm.
you find that a lot of people just don't know who you are, and they go, "What? You also do that?"
Um, it's hard because some people already know me from being an actor, and it was hard to like kind of transition. But there are some people, like I've had a few clients that, especially with Halloween, like just passing, like The Conjuring is so everyone like talks about it because it's a big horror movie. But I have some clients that are like, "You're what? Like you're in that movie? Like it's like crazy." I'm like, "Yeah."
Got it. So the last two questions before I let you go, and we'll do a substitute question if this one doesn't work. Are we allowed to know which film is next or which project is next, or that's embargoed info?
Yeah, I think so. I think so, yeah. The next one, I filmed it this year at the beginning of the year. Another one with my mum in Australia. We did that with this one in Victoria. Again, my second horror movie. So it's called First Moon. So that's in post now. It's really cool, really cool werewolf movie. My first time ever using prosthetics. So that's like a little spoiler. I don't know if I can say much else, but
That's plenty to grasp onto.
yeah.
Knowing that's a Halloween film, I think you're 1 or 2 Halloween credits away from October, early November being your peak season every year.
Yeah, right.
That
Makes
happens
sense.
for a lot of performers.
Of
And
course.
the last question is, when you're not busy with the acting, you're not busy with the Pilates world, where does your free time go? Are you one of the people that's always taking classes, or do you know how to do off time?
I'm always working, I have to say. When I'm not acting, I'm always working with my clients and all of that. However, like if I do have some spare time, I mean, I read a lot. I love reading. I love hiking, obviously doing Pilates myself and taking classes. I love that. But that's like walking my dog, hanging out with my dog. Traveling, I love that. That's usually what I do in my spare time when I'm not working, which is quite rare, but
Sometimes when you ask that to an actor, they go, "And my new album is coming out blank," and you
oh my
find it.
goodness, no, not me.
So no
Definitely
vanity
not.
solo project coming anytime soon from Lauren Esposito.
No.
Well, thank you for your time, and really looking forward to whatever's coming next.
Of course, thank you so much for having me.
Paltrocast.